How goes it all? Welcome back to Patterson L Properties. Hopefully you guys having a great and exceptional day. All right, let's get to it. Let's get it started in here. All righty, so it's expensive as hell to live in the United States right now. Most of the areas where the job markets are the best are overpriced. From the DMV area where I reside at, and I'm from, meaning Virginia and Maryland, that's connected to Washington, D.C. All these specific areas, Washington, D.C., known as the good old District of Columbia. I just noticed on this map, doesn't really point out Washington, D.C. Interesting. Technically it's not a state, it's a district. But anyways, Washington, D.C. should be right there. But anyways, I digress. So, America's pretty expensive right now. All the major metropolitan cities like New York City, of course, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, San Diego, Miami, Houston, Austin, Dallas, Portland, Seattle, very expensive places to live now. Denver, Colorado, heck, even places like Salt Lake City, Utah, Las Vegas, and Phoenix. And those are cities that used to be considered affordable, specifically before the pandemic. I mean, heck, I remember there was a time in Las Vegas, you could get a home in Las Vegas back in 2016, 2017 for $100,000 or less, Now, was it a big home? No. It's usually one of those rambler homes, one level, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathroom kind of homes, but still, that was much more of an affordable price back then. Now the houses in Vegas is about $500,000. Heck, now the houses in around majority, same thing with Phoenix, Arizona, but around majority of the major cities are $500,000 to $1 million. So, this article that I saw on U.S. News in regards to real estate talks about the most affordable places to live in the United States of America between the years of 2024 and 2025, the year that we're in right now. So, I found it to be interesting. I'm just going to go off the cuff on this one and just, do what I do at the end of the day. All right, so let's go with city number 1, Fort Wayne, Indiana. So all these cities are quote unquote mid-sized cities, or not major cities, because the major city in Indiana is Indianapolis. And that is the city, slowly but surely, being gentrified. All right. So that's his number 1, Fort Wayne, Indiana. And it's a low cost of living, it's quiet neighborhoods. Fort Wayne, Indiana, it can be a good place to buy a house, start a career, launch a business, and raise children, because it's a mid-sized city in the heart of the Midwest. So that is now, and I haven't been there, but the next city, number 2, is Huntsville, Alabama. Now, Huntsville, Alabama is, the beauty of Huntsville, Alabama is it's a mid-sized city, it's near Birmingham, Alabama, and it's connected to Birmingham and Atlanta, Georgia. So I remember between 2005 and 2015, so that was a 10-year time frame, a lot of people were moving down to Huntsville, Alabama, because a lot of government agencies were setting up shop there, for government contractors were setting up shop in Huntsville, Alabama. I even went to visit a friend in Huntsville, Alabama, and that was the first time I went to Alabama. Second time I went to Alabama was last year, 2024, in Montgomery, Alabama. So Alabama's actually not a bad state, nice rural state, laid back. But, a lot of times, especially when people get older, they get tired of the hustle and bustle of the rat race culture, and then that I can actually understand and respect. They get tired of the hustle and bustle of the rat race culture, and they want to be able to live in a town where they can be around things and still be able to go to, have certain events and things of that nature. But they still want to feel like there's some peace of mind and peace of quiet, and not a lot of traffic. So Huntsville, Alabama, definitely. Good old Wichita, Kansas. Every time I hear about Wichita, I think of 2 movies: Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And then, of course, I think the movie The Ice Harvest and whatnot. So now, like I said, I don't have too much in-depth knowledge of the city of Wichita because I've never been there. Never even been to the state of Kansas. So anyways, it's located in the heart of the Midwest, along the banks of the Arkansas River. Wichita, Kansas started out as 1860s trading post and has since grown into a bustling city. Wichita's growth and success over the last century can be attributed to the cattle, grain, oil, and aviation industries, as well as the spirit and determination of its founders. Although its cowboy roots are still celebrated, Wichita has since embraced higher education, world-class healthcare, and technological innovation. In fact, many companies, including Cessna and LarrysJet, got their start there, earning Wichita the nickname Air Capital of the World. So it's a big aviation town. And once again, a lot of these cities could be for the remote workers as well, because like I said, for a person who's had the pleasure of working, having the telework and whatnot, it definitely takes up your quality of life in a very, very great way. Especially, let's be realistic, most people are very antisocial nowadays because of technology. I mean, heck, I'm utilizing technology to make this video right now. And more people would rather, when they're not at work, and when they not have to worry about driving to get into a specific building on time. Most people would love the opportunity to just do their work from their house, have that real true work-life balance where they can spend time with their kids, their pets, and just themselves, and have the opportunity to save a lot of money from wear and tear on the vehicle and gas. So that is the whole mindset of people enjoying remote work and telework, things of that nature. All right. The next city, number 4, Springfield, Missouri. It's nicknamed Queen City of Ozarks. It's known for its birthplace of Route 66. Springfield is a metro hub for Southwest Missouri, home to higher education institutions and the headquarters of some major corporations. Springfield is attracting younger residents looking to earn a degree or start a career. But it doesn't mean Springfield is all work and no play. Residents have plenty of opportunities to enjoy music, dining, art, theater, and the nightlife in the historic downtown area. A network of trails and plenty of green space appeal to outdoorsy types, while city events bring communities together. And I think, places like that are going to start, because if you just look on this map, I mean, the Northeast, as far as the metropolitan areas, is becoming more and more unaffordable to regular everyday working people. The West Coast, the entire West Coast, and I love the West Coast. I'm about to go to California in a couple of days, but California, Oregon, Washington State are becoming more and more unaffordable, and parts of the South are becoming more and more unaffordable. I mentioned Austin, Houston, and Dallas, but let's not forget the city of New Orleans has been gentrified. The state of Florida is being gentrified. Specifically Miami and Tampa. Atlanta, Georgia is being gentrified. Charlotte, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina is being gentrified. So the places that used to be considered cheap are no longer cheap anymore. So, and even parts of the Midwest like Chicago is being gentrified. So, it's a big, big deal in a big, big way. All right. Number 5, Davenport, Iowa. Now, I don't ever see the state of Iowa getting gentrified, but hey, you never know, because no one would ever thought that Florida would become a gentrified state. So Davenport is the 3rd largest city in Iowa. It's part of the Quad Cities area that spans 2 states in Iowa and Illinois over the Mississippi River. Davenport and Bittendorf, Iowa, and Rock Island, Moline, and East Moline, Illinois, each distinct but downtowns clusters along the same riverfront and collaborations across business, service, and arts. There's a bustling brewery scene, casinos, river cruises there, and residents of Davenport and its neighbor cities are 3 hours away from Chicago and 2.5 hours away from Des Moines. So that, like I said, you have an opportunity to be near stuff, but be far away from stuff all at the same time. And like I said, you have, like, my generation, the 80s babies, were getting older, so a lot of us are just tired of the hustle and bustle of the West Coast and the East Coast. All right, so Hickory, North Carolina, where my mother's side of the family's from. As far as North Carolina, they're from Greenville, North Carolina. So the beauty of it, the region is growing due to its proximity to Charlotte, like I mentioned earlier, and only an hour's drive to Hickory, from Charlotte to Hickory. It's also beer and arts loving Asheville is just an hour west of the mountains. With growth on the horizon, new businesses, including restaurants, retail stores, and bars, are popping up everywhere. The area's past is in its furniture, upholstery, and textile. After all, Hickory is the birthplace of furniture brands like Boy Hill, Bernhardt. Now the area's industry has bounded beyond its roots into new technologies and data. Tech giants Google and Apple both have data centers there. And, data centers are, popping up everywhere, specifically in the South. So those that, if you're in that industry, that's going to help create more jobs within that specific area. All right. Now here's a city I've been to, Montgomery, Alabama. Now when it comes to buying rental properties, I love state capitals because state capitals always have these great things going on. VA hospitals, which provide good services and jobs. Sometimes military bases, but they're always going to have military there because of the Air National Guard and the Army National Guard. State legislature, governor's mansion, therefore they have major state institutions, hospitals, all that great stuff. Government contracting, state government contracting that is associated with that. That's where the deals get made in the state, therefore there's money flowing through there. And then you have the federal government presence there all at the same time. And when you have the federal government presence there, you can have government contractors there all at the same time. So, and then you add on outside of that, the local economy. So that's why I love state capitals as far as buying rental properties. All right. And of course, it's love, great histories, civil rights, Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott King, Zelda Fitzgerald, all that great stuff when it comes to Montgomery. It has an Air Force base, universities, and it's only 2.5 hours away from Atlanta, Georgia, and it's an hour and a half south of Birmingham. So it's great proximity, near the white Gulf of Mexico, or as they call it, Gulf of America now. So it's a great location, great places to check out. And once again, it's just, it has that, that it's close enough to stuff, but it's far away from stuff at the same time, because you drive an hour outside of Montgomery and you're in the middle of nowhere. And nowadays I actually get that, and I respect that more because it's peace of mind. So we go back to the Midwest, Green Bay, Wisconsin. All right. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers is a big deal. Green Bay is the state's oldest settlement in the region of northeast Wisconsin. The city is the heart of the mouth of the Fox River and Great Lakes, and whole city continues to be a major shipping center. Summer on the Fox River is alive, and water skiing, a lot of outdoorsy stuff. A lot of great shopping when it comes to the downtown area. They have a great beer industry. So hey, and this might be a city that you want to move to. If you're a remote worker, or maybe you're just a retiree, so you're not looking to build a career there. You just have like a little part-time job to keep you busy and have a little extra money. Little Rock, Arkansas is another city. Little Rock is the state's capital, so obviously there's money to be earned there. And there's a lot of great history that's happened there, and a lot of great different foods and things of that nature. Nice suburbs. So, Little Rock has this little, has this little spark to it, things of that nature. So maybe it might be a town you might be interested in living in, because like I said, when you think of them, when most people think of America, they think of the most major big cities and whatnot, but for regular everyday working people, they are becoming more and more unaffordable. Oklahoma City, OKC as they call it, OCK, whatever. Yeah, OCK, yeah. Excuse me. I get sleepy and my mouth gets dry whenever I do content. All right. Okay. Oklahoma City. All right. It's influenced by its Western heritage. Oklahoma City is where you can find cowboy history, things of that nature, festivals, great museums. You have a major influx of younger residents in recent years has infused the city with a more energetic, creative, and progressive feel than it had in the past. Once an early to bed, early to rise, meat and potatoes kind of town, Oklahoma City today buzzes with life until the early hours of the morning. A lot of people moved there from the West Coast and the East Coast because, once again, I remember a person I went to school with who was living in Virginia Beach and moved to Oklahoma because they couldn't afford to live in Virginia anymore. It's just, one of those things. So it has a decent economy compared to the rest of the state. And, hey, it's something that, one might want to look into. Opportunities when it comes to the job market, energy, aviation, healthcare, as well as skilled trades industry workers, such as machinists, pipe fitters, and welders. Tinker Air Force Base is nearby the city and employs thousands of active duty, reserve, and civilian employees. Well, not so many today because a lot of those jobs got cut due to the new world we live in. But Oklahoma State Government, University of Oklahoma nearby, so they got aeronautical centers, things of that nature. So they got some good things happening in good old Oklahoma. It's a town that one might want to look into moving to. Lexington, Kentucky. I have a friend of mine that I grew up with who lives in Kentucky right now, and he's been financially doing very well ever since he moved to Kentucky. I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but hey. Lexington blends influences from the South and Midwest to create a unique cultural identity. The college town is home to the University of Kentucky, city's largest school and employer. When it comes, they have several large companies that are headquartered, have facilities in the area, including Lexmark, Lockheed Martin, Amazon, UPS, and other major corporations. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and hey, like I said, this is where we are at. All right, Lafayette, Louisiana. Louisiana has always been a state where it's been, known as to be a little bit poorer, so it's much more affordable compared to the rest of America. Folks in South Louisiana, town of Lafayette, work hard, but they live well, thanks to their access to outstanding cuisine, great music, and a calendar full of festivals. New Orleans and the state of Louisiana is definitely a state I wanted to check out a lot more because I know it has this great vibrancy to it. When it comes to the job market, major employers in the education and healthcare sectors have helped bolster the region's job market that once rallied heavily on oil and gas for its economic foundation. The University of Louisiana, the state's second largest university, is one of the metro area's largest employers. So, awesome sauce. What are we moving next to? Oklahoma City, Nebraska. Feel like I should have went live with this one, but it's all good. I wanted the quality of the video to come out, and I just talked about Nebraska going bankrupt. But anyways, Omaha's a handful of large companies. Berkshire Hathaway, obviously. I'm having a blank moment. But Warren Buffett, yeah, I'm like, Lord have mercy. Warren Buffett, Union Pacific Railroad, Mutual of Omaha, Warner Enterprises, Green Plains, and Belmont Industries, and so many more. So, like I said, these are the cities that are not overpriced as of yet. So it's just something to look into and go from there. All right, Brownsville, Texas. Only got a couple left. Brownsville, Texas. Where are we at? I just had it. There we go. All right. It's located southeasternmost tip of Texas. Brownsville marks the point where Texas meets both Mexico and the Gulf of Mexico. With its location on the border and along the Gulf Coast, Brownsville is a flourishing trade hub. The port of Brownsville is the center of the region's import and export activities and houses major companies like Keppel. Ships carrying everything from grain to metals travel up the channel into the Gulf just south of the South Prairie Island. Aerospace engineering is also growing in the area. SpaceX, Boca Chica rocket, all that great stuff. So interesting. I've heard of Brownsville, Texas. I've never been there, but I mean, obviously it's not a big reason because it's not like it's a major city. But anyways, maybe a place to check out. Going back to Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. What do we got? What's the job market? Lincoln's consistently has an unemployment rate that's lower than the national average, at least for now, thanks to the large part in the sizable government and education sectors. Other industries that have a big presence in Lincoln include insurance, financial services, healthcare, and transportation and utilities. All right, so like I said, Midwest, I would never want to live there just because the weather sucks. I'm not a big fan of cold weather, but if you are, that's what's up. Peoria, Illinois, the home of Richard Pryor, one of the greatest comedians ever. When people want to know whether something has wide appeal, they might ask, will it play in Peoria? But don't let that old saying trick you, as they say. It's not dull. It's a brawling, bustling, sometimes brawdy place, always big-hearted river town, gave the world's Caterpillar equipment. Comic Richard Pryor, feminist Betty Friedman, the first televangelist Fulton Sheen, life-saving penicillin in abundance, and pizza-sized pork tenderloin sandwiches. That's what's up. So what do we got as far as the job market? Healthcare jobs in the area are plentiful, as OSF Healthcare is headquartered in this town. And then obviously, you know, Children's Hospital, University of Illinois has a college of medicine in this town. So Jump in Trading Simulation and Education Center is the major, a lot of insurance companies and things of that nature. So interesting to say the least. Alrighty, moving along. What do we got next? We have Louisville, Kentucky. Back to Kentucky. All right. So, and I know it's more of a bigger city in Louisville. It's along the Ohio River, which divides northeastern and southern United States. It's a great modern city. When it comes to jobs, United Parcel Service, Jefferson County Public Schools, Humana Incorporated, Ford Motor Company are a few of the largest employers in the area. All right, and then of course you have the University of Louisville. So you have, it's obviously it's home of KFC as well, but you have your differences going back to Indiana. So you see with most of these places that I'm talking about, they're mainly within Middle America, Midwest, and the South. Nowhere on the West Coast, nowhere on the East Coast. See the pattern here? All right, South Bend, Indiana, home of the University of Notre Dame. All right. South Bend, Indiana boasts a low cost of living as well as an array of parks and divisions to keep locals entertained. When it comes to the job market, it used to be one of the most larger manufacturing centers in the Midwest, home to iconic brands like Studebaker Automobile Company and Singer Sewing Machines. Today, many of those companies are gone, obviously, despite the loss of those large employers in South Bend. Northern Indiana continues to have a strong manufacturing presence. Elkhart County, bordering the South Bend area to the east, is the world's recreational vehicle capital, producing a majority of all RVs. So if you want to know what the majority of the RVs are made, they're made in South Bend, Indiana. University of Notre Dame, big employer, several other major employers within the healthcare industry, St. Joseph's Health and System. So hospitals, universities, manufacturing, that's the biggest employers within the region of South Bend. So interesting to say the least. All right, we go to Toledo, Ohio. Almost done here. I think this is one of the longest videos I've made for this channel in a long time. So Toledo, Ohio, nice area. Let's get the overview. You will do better in Toledo, says the signs by the roads and to the downtown area. The slogan, introduced back in 1913, represents the positive attitude of Toledo's residents. Job market. Toledo proposed as a place of industry in the 1950s and 60s, with glass and car production at the forefront of the area's economy. Today, the area's top employers include Mercy Health Hospitals, the University of Toledo, General Motors, and Major. So, once again, the cost of living in these areas are below the national standards, so it's still feasible to be able to buy a home in these cities for $100,000 to under $100,000. Keep that in mind. And it's more feasible in regards to being able to buy a home cash money in these cities that I've mentioned. It's another thing that I haven't gone into. So, and in today's world, like I always say, if you don't have a mortgage to worry about, you just have to worry about paying personal property taxes and insurance. And I hope you get whatever insurance you got to get, just so you don't have a situation when something bad happens to the house that you don't have a policy. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay, Rockford, Illinois. Remember the first time I heard of Rockford, Illinois, it was Insane Clown Posse had their thing called the music group. They had a thing called The Gathering of the Juggalos. Alrighty, so it's billing itself as a city of gardens. Rockford is a place for families, children, and retirees who want to enjoy big city amenities at a fraction of the cost. Can't beat that. All right, the job market. Manufacturing, aerospace are important industries in Rockford. Two of the largest employers, Collins Aerospace and Woodward, are major aerospace suppliers. hospitals, things that, and I'm starting to notice a theme. Rockford's airport is a hub for UPS, which employs many locals. Transportation, hospitals, education centers. I'm noticing this is the big theme with most of these cheaper mid-sized cities. So, which is cool, nothing wrong with that. Remember, I'm not, just because I wouldn't want to live in most of these places doesn't mean I knock them, because sometimes it's actually cool going to a mid-sized city to a small town because it's so peaceful. One of my most favorite drives that I ever went on was when I drove from Jackson, Mississippi to Biloxi, Mississippi to Montgomery, Alabama, because it was so peaceful. Living in the DMV area, getting on the highway is a job in 2025 and beyond. So anyway, and it's intensified because of, since the pandemic. All right, Indianapolis, Illinois. Now I know this is much more of an expensive town when it comes to the other cities I mentioned. Indianapolis, Indiana. I know this is one of the most expensive cities in the state of Indiana, but it's cheaper to live in Indianapolis compared to living in New York, DC, and California. All right, so anyways, Indianapolis has extensive job growth in recent years, making it a popular place for new graduates looking for work. Jobs in healthcare industry are abundant. A number of national companies are headquartered in Indianapolis, including Eli Lilly and Company, Anthem, Simon Property Group, Finish Line, and NCAA. So, the national average median household income in the country is $75,000. In Indianapolis, it is $69,000. All right, we're getting down to the wire. Okay, so McAllen, Texas. Heard some good things about McAllen. So it's a border town. It's a vibrant city and a major center for retail, international trade, tourism, and manufacturing. And a lot of people enjoy living in the border towns and living in peace and quiet. The major jobs there, education, health, services, make up two large employer sectors in McAllen, are thanks to employers like McAllen Independent School District, South Texas College, University of Texas Rio Grande, and Rio Grande Regional Hospital. But like I said, small towns is just going to become the new norm for most regular working people, because affordability for most places on the West Coast and East Coast is just becoming a thing of the past for everyday regular working people. All right, we're going to Kansas City, Missouri, or as my favorite rapper would say, Tech Nine, we reppin' KC Mo, fellas and the ladies know. It's Kansas City. All right, so anyways, Kansas City, Missouri is no flyover cow town. It's a metropolitan area. It is a major city which straddles two states, others being Kansas, because you got Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, and two rivers, and home to a diverse population of more than 2 million people. Job market in Kansas City, healthcare, of course, is a big deal. And there's different healthcare sectors. Trade, transportation, and manufacturing are also prominent in Kansas City. Hallmark Cars, Ford Motor Company, etc., and so forth. So a lot of great things happening in KC mode. All right, back to Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, where obviously there at one time was a great, thriving African-American community in Tulsa, a lot of history there. Overview, it was once considered an oil capital of the world. Town has developed into a vibrant, albeit small, modern metropolis, straddling the southwest and midwest regions of the country. When it boils down to the job market, Tulsa remains a center for the oil industry, but there are many other job opportunities in the area. In fact, with the unpredictable nature of the oil and gas industry, more people in Tulsa have turned to the other sectors and entrepreneurial businesses. Startups in particular are booming. So that's what's up, man. Of course, hospitals, things of that nature. All right. Last but not least, we're going to make it after all, and we're going to make it to 30 minutes. Oh, Dayton, Ohio, where great comedian Cat Williams is from. Overview of Dayton, Ohio offers a downtown area full of unique activities and suburbs that provide close-knit communities for those who call the region home. Job market, I know the military is a big deal because you have Wright-Patt Air Force Base there. So they contribute a lot of jobs. You have aerospace, health, and obviously defense and education are major, aviation, major job markets in the field. Shout out to all the military service people, regardless of who's in the White House, governor's house, or mayor's house. Military service people deserve to always be commended, even when you have people that are not looking out for their best interests. But on that note, that's all I got. Very interesting. Remember, the most that's going to require, which I did not mention earlier, that will be required of people to have as far as income is no more than $70,000 in all those cities that I had mentioned. That you will be, if you make $70,000, as long as you don't have a multitude of crazy debts, i.e., credit card debt, i.e., car debt, i.e., student loan debts, things of that nature. I think regular everyday working people wanting to buy houses in those areas or buy investment properties in those areas could do well if they do their research and, execute, move forward. All right. Don't forget to check out Patterson Properties. We wholesale real estate in the DMV area, and Reading, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg area, all that great stuff. Check us out. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual, and time account investor, don't forget to check out WEBULL Stash, crypto.com, Coinbase. All those platforms you'll be able to make some money moves, and I'll get a nice bonus after you sign up. Remember, you can't get fired if you own the company. It's 2025. It's time for you to own something. These are great TV things. Like, share, subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves so you can live like fools. It's saying Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life.